Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to Four Guys in a Bar podcast, sponsored by Chiefs Blitz and presented by Dave Purdy with Supreme Lending. For your mortgage solutions, call Dave today at 816-405-5831. That's 816-405-5831 because he's pretty good. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar, presented by Chiefs Blitz. I'm your host, Nick Athan. My producer extraordinaire, Mr. Hense Todd with Bowtie Sports. You can catch his show every Saturday, 1 o'clock Central Time on YouTube at Bowtie Sports. They do a great job along with one of our other cohorts, Mr. Andre Tillman. But before we get started, let's talk about one of the guys that helps us put this show together, and that would be my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. I've known Eric a long time, probably 25 years. He's been a good friend. He's done a lot of things in his life, but he's settled in and become one of the best real estate advisors in the Kansas City metropolitan area. If you need somebody you can trust, somebody who can walk you through the process of buying and or selling a house, you need to find someone that has the experience and the patience. We all know trying to find a house is a bad thing. Eric's helping both myself and Hense's family to find a house, and he's been patient. He works hard. He gives us the pluses and the minuses, and that's what you want, a trusted real estate advisor. So when the time is right, give Eric a call at 816-729-3785. That is 816-729-3785.
Proud sponsor of Chiefs Hoop.
Proud sponsor of Chiefs Hoop. Okay, guys, before we start the show, sorry, I got to clear my throat a little bit here. On Sunday night, Monday morning, we lost one of the nicest human beings I've ever known, Deb Detweiler. She is probably the number one Chiefs fan. She took me under her wing when I started Warpaint Illustrated back in the day. She came to every event. When Emily and I started dating my wife, she took her around while I was working in the press box, and she made sure that she was welcome into the Chiefs kingdom. And Deb was a special person and a special human being and somebody that I love very, very much. And I just wanted to take a second to shout out to her and her family. Godspeed. We know this is a big loss for them. It's a huge loss for the Chiefs kingdom. Everybody knew Deb Detweiler. I even put her in the magazine way back in the day. We took a lot of crowd pictures like you're seeing there. She was top shelf, one of the best human beings I've ever known. Sadly, we lost her over the weekend. She did get to see the Chiefs Ravens game, so I know she was excited. And if she was still with us, she'd have had a front row seats, as she always does on the road at the Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas. So rest in peace, my friend. You'll be hovering over us like with Hank Stram and Lenny Dawson and Otis Taylor and all the greats. You are by far my number one fan. I appreciate all you did for me. And again, my prayers and thoughts to the family.
Rest in peace, Deb.
Rest in peace. And with that, thank you for letting me do that, guys. I want to bring in Lou Montagna and Andre Tillman. Just wanted to knock that out of the way early. And obviously now we are midweek of the off week of the Super Bowl, I guess is the best way to describe it. Senior Bowl's going on. Chiefs return to practice on Thursday. All the Tom Brady and the Patrick Mahomes comparisons are running rapid on the airwaves. But again, it's still an exciting time to be a Chiefs fan. And, we said this Monday, they're back in the Super Bowl. And as improbable as it seemed, other than from Mr. Hense Todd, midway through the season, even after that Raiders loss, and I called him up and I said, it ain't happening, brother. They're not going to the Super Bowl. And thank God I didn't watch most of that game, which was a good thing for me. But here we are again, and probably arguably the best talented defense we've seen since the Derek Thomas, Neil Smith era, and probably one of the most inconsistent offenses we've seen up through the last 4 games in Chiefs history. So at the end of the day, Chiefs, 49ers, Super Bowl 58. I can't wait.
He's over there drinking on his grass, his cow juice.
Cow grass.
But in the bar.
Let's clarify this.
In the bar. So I put it like this.
That's a green smoothie, maybe.
Mhm.
That's nothing
Green
but
is the way to be, young man. Green,
nothing but
green's the way to
nutrients
be.
in that cup.
That's right, and it comes out heavy. So listen,
Thanks for that image.
absolutely.
But again, guys, the Chiefs are back here again. A lot of people doubted us. Even some people in the Chiefs kingdom. I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, there are quite a few. I mean, I did it.
But again, this is amazing, man. I seen a quote that everybody is so tired of, so tired and so sick and tired of seeing the Chiefs in commercials. So tired of seeing the Chiefs back in the back-to-back Super Bowls, and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is everywhere, and they so tired of seeing this and that. But they don't know the heartache of what we had to go through, guys. They don't know the heartache of the Pioli days of the banners getting flown around the stadium. They didn't see none of that. So how can you hate us when we at the top? Hey, I'm not gonna get sick and tired of seeing the Chiefs always there. As a Chiefs fan, we're not gonna get sick and tired. Or as Kansas Cityans, we're not gonna get sick and tired of seeing our city get recognized, because it's plenty of years that our city didn't get recognized for anything. We was getting known for Kansas. They was calling us Kansas, calling Kansas Missouri. It's always they were so disrespectful for us, you know what I mean?
Dorothy and Toto jokes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Now Patrick Mahomes has arrived. Now the Chiefs have something that they can fall back on. It's amazing, and like that all you see is you turn on the TV on the sports TV. I mean, on the sports channels, all you see is Kansas City everywhere. And we're gonna be talked about now, guys. We're gonna be going down as one of the winningest cities in decade histories. You know what I mean? And one of the teams that's of all time of decades, of like the Jordan Bulls, and the Tom Brady Patriots. Now we got Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
So
we're lucky.
Hey,
it takes a lot.
We're not getting tired
to
of
elevate to the hated. To be the villain, to be the New York Yankees, to be Notre Dame football, to be the Patriots, to be the Dallas Cowboys. It's either you love them or you hate them, but either way, you're watching. So for everybody that says they don't like watching the Chiefs, or we need more teams, the ratings haven't been this high since forever. Okay. Most people, I think they had in the divisional round the most eyeballs, in the the championship round the most eyeballs. So come on now. It's I mean the history is well documented, especially for people of a certain age. You go back, the Pioli era obviously was fairly forgettable. Trying to recreate the Patriot way, bringing in Todd Haley when he wasn't ready to be a head coach. And so, this is nothing but great. And I think, we talked about it early in the season, mid-season, whatever. In my mind, I truly believe we're still in the infancy stages of this whole run. Now, I might be way off, and it's like, you can never think that this is going to continue. But I mean, does anybody really? I mean, I'm knocking on wood and horseshoes, everything else. As long as Patrick remains healthy, he's only going to get better. Okay. I mean, it's scary to think that. Now, he may never go for 50 and 5,000 again, because he doesn't have to, right? The team around him is so much better. Skill positions will continue to grow. Obviously, this is kind of a down period, but here we are at the Super Bowl, no matter what. Last year winning it, this year maybe winning it again, probably winning it again.
Maybe probably's or ifs on the show are allowed.
So as the team continues to grow, especially on the defensive side of the ball, it's got to be the scariest thing for the rest of the NFL and the rest of those people that somehow Hense seems to be, they're in his ear, telling him that this is awful. We don't want to see this anymore. It's too much, and then throw Taylor Swift on top. She's just the cherry on top. It's like, go away. But, quite honestly, with the records being set in viewership, it's whoever's saying that is in a very small minority.
Yeah. 110 million viewers in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
110 million. 55 average on each at their peak of the game.
Most definitely.
All right, Andre.
All right, well,
put us in reality here.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I mean, every team from any sports, from any sport, right? Every team has their time. New England was a dynasty with Tom Brady. All right. Who was the next dynasty? It's Kansas City. It's Kansas City's time. That's what it is right now. It's like we just got bask in the glow of it's the Chiefs' time. Mahomes, like you said, Luke, Mahomes is going to get better. I think what happened was when Mahomes came out, when he threw for that 55,000, that was his breakout year. That was him coming into his own.
Yeah.
Right? So now, defenses adjust to that, but Mahomes put fear into the league when he first arrived because we never seen it. And we got to give a shout out to Tyreek Hill because he was a big part of that too. He was a big part of that reason. A big part of that reason. That's why they struck so much.
Part of the reason why they lost in the Super Bowl.
But no, it was a forced throw. It was a forced throw to him.
But I'm gonna say some props to D-Rob too.
Oh, D-Rob was nice too. D-Rob was like one of my favorite receivers from that era, from that time in Kansas City. But again, it's like this. It's just the Chiefs' time. It's their time. We just got to bask in it. It's their time.
It's the beginning. It's the beginning of their time, and that's what's crazy. I mean, 4 years from now or 6 years from now, you're going to fill this page up with years. I mean, Lou, you make a great point, Lou, because this is just it's amazing. The last 6 years, including this one with Mahomes as the starter, it's like it's all leading up to the prime of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Yet in that buildup, he's done something no other quarterback has ever done. No one's put these numbers up. He's taken every challenger and he has thrown them in the trash can. All these AFC quarterbacks who supposedly were better, he has knocked them off one by one by one.
Go ahead, Bo. Go ahead, start it up, Bo.
And it's just that's what he does. He is the slayer of quarterbacks.
Slayer of all quarterbacks. Joe Burrow.
Don't start with Joe. Don't do that. Joe owns him still.
No, it doesn't. He beat him in the AFC. You're 1-1 in title game. I give a crap about regular season games.
Right.
Obviously, that doesn't matter for the Chiefs.
3-1, young man. 3-1. That's all I'm gonna say.
Burrow's left 2 years with injury.
Injury. Good point. He was hurt.
Listen to me. He does not have the body to have a long career in the NFL. He doesn't have the stamina. He's got the arm. He's got the intelligence. He's got all these things. But you're talking about a 5 or 6 year player, maybe 7 tops, before his body gives out.
The devil's advocate here. You're counting regular season wins.
Yeah, who cares? We don't care about that anymore.
We said we don't care, right? Wait. We said we don't care, right? But the time he met Patrick Mahomes, they're 1-1, right, guys? They're 1-1. That's the only guy. That's the only guy that gets Mahomes that threat. He put fear in Kansas City. He put fear in the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It makes no difference anymore.
Give it Joe Burrow offensive line. Then we have a different conversation.
All right.
Now Joe Burrow needs an offensive line. He needs this. He needs that.
Brady did. Tom Brady did.
Come on, man.
And he's not got one unhappy receiver. He's got 2. Higgins doesn't want to play for the franchise tag.
Nick.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Higgins doesn't want to play for the franchise tag, and Chase wants his money not next year. He wants it this offseason.
Right.
Now.
With a team that is cheap. Not happening. Okay, go ahead. I'm done.
Chill. No, wait.
I'm going to sit back and enjoy your comments.
If Tom Brady had an offensive line, Joe Burrow had this a different conversation. Brady ain't Brady. Right?
Well, yeah, Belichick knew how to build the trenches.
Yeah. if you take the offense line Joe Burrow has and put Tom Brady behind that offensive line, if Brady still is he still Brady?
No.
That's my point.
Do Joe Burrow?
a solid offensive line?
But
We have
that's
a
not-
whole
that's
different
not
know.
his- it doesn't matter.
They went to go pay. They paid Orlando Brown. They said Orlando Brown was the savior. They went to go get out.
You know damn well Orlando Brown was no savior.
No, that's what they said. I'm not the organization. I'm not the one that's over there signing contracts. That's what they said. They said that he's the savior. Joe Burrow don't have no MVPs. He haven't been mentioned.
Do you need an MVP? Do you need
in
an MVP?
MVP circles, sir.
Do you need an MVP?
You don't have no Super Bowl ring. He
Do you
don't
need
have
MVP?
nothing.
Do
But-
you need an MVP to be
but injuries.
solidified?
Joe Burrow been hurt every single year. Every other year he's out.
Why?
He-
Why was he hurt?
he's not-
And why was he hurt?
Come on, now his offensive line. He got hurt in practice.
Offensive line.
He don't have nothing that this guy have. You want to compare Joe Burrow? You want to compare everybody else? Lamar Jackson,
They 1-1.
Josh Allen. Who else? You want to? The man's in the lead. The man is in his lead of his own. He is chasing goats.
You can't.
You are chasing goats, and while everybody else is chasing his goats.
You can't
let's
really
go.
compare anyone that's playing right now to Patrick.
No.
You
that's
can't.
plain and simple.
That's
So,
over with. Stop
Now,
it.
that's not saying that
Keep your
these
comments,
other
Bo.
guys aren't good.
Done.
I mean, these guys are
never
good
done,
players.
sir.
Josh
All the
Allen is a
Bo's-
good
Bo's in the
player.
game.
Joe Burrow is a good player, right?
Yeah,
Lamar
right.
Jackson is a good player. Are they great? It remains to be seen, but so far they haven't shown that. To be great, you have to dominate in the postseason. You have to get the jewelry, right? You have to get the rings. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, we get protective of Patrick and, oh, he's so much better than these other guys. These guys are really good players. They have to be. They wouldn't be at the level they are. I mean, we wouldn't be talking about how tough the
They're
AFC
leftovers,
is
Lou.
if it
There was
wasn't-
leftovers.
if it wasn't for these guys.
Somebody else's
They
logo.
were all high
Gotta pick
draft picks.
somebody.
They were all
Gotta
good
pick
players in
somebody.
college, and they're very good players in the NFL. So,
True.
but in terms of just kind of looking at body of work, no one comes close. No one that's playing today
No.
is in the same
Jay.
area code.
Jay.
That's
Jay
it.
just
No,
had
but
his.
what I'm saying is no. The argument is this. The argument is this. Toe to toe. Toe to toe. These two going 1-on-1. Bro's better. But what I'm saying is this:
Stop it.
as far as
Get
accolades,
out of
go,
here, man.
Mahomes
Stop
take
it.
the accolades. Mahomes he got
Dre.
every trophy in the book.
Okay.
Dre.
Okay. Let's put this in perspective. Okay. Hold on. Let's
Being
put this in
disrespectful
perspective.
now, Jay.
Okay.
Totally disrespectful.
2 wins from Burrow. 1, the FC title game. What happens? Tyreek Hill drops the pass in his bucket. Tips off his shoulder, gets intercepted. The
Yep.
loss previous at Cincinnati. Travis Kelce fumbles the ball when the Chiefs are about to take the lead.
Mhm.
That's point number 1. Point number 2, had Orlando Brown kept his block, Juju Smith-Schuster would have had a touchdown, and the Chiefs win that football game. Your boy, within a centimeter, missed that ball to T. Higgins on that 4th down pass to seal the victory for the Bengals. So
You
listen
have
to me.
Unqualified allegiance to losers.
You have
sir.
Joe Burrow is, to me, and I'm going to put Brock Purdy in that category, are the 2nd and 3rd best quarterbacks in the National Football League playing right now today. From
Right.
the ability
I agree
to
with that.
throw the ball, run the ball, read defenses, play with whatever's around him to the best of their abilities. Okay. However, to say Burrow is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes, it doesn't matter because this season has proven one thing. The regular season is a singular stepping stone to winning the division and being at worst the 4 seed. The rest of it will take care of itself.
I'm gonna say this:
Patrick Mahomes may spend the rest of his career having to win 3 playoff games to get to the Super Bowl, and you know what? I'm just fine with that. And he's going to beat Burrow again, and he's going to beat Jackson again, and he's going to beat Watson, and he's going to beat all these up-and-comers. He's going to beat C.J. Stroud because he is the quarterback slayer. We have Michael Jordan, while everybody else has Karl Malone and Charles Barkley. It's just that simple.
Well, guys,
Just
y'all
that
make a
simple.
valid point. Y'all make a
Isn't
valid point. But
awful. They're just
remember though,
unlucky to play in that era, right?
that's true.
And
That's
all
true.
these quarterbacks are unlucky to play in this era.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
Patrick's going to take
What
them
I'm
all
saying,
down.
guys, what I'm
Yeah,
saying is this.
that's
What I'm saying
what
is
Nick
this.
said. What Nick said was 100% true, and what Lou just said. Yes, they are great quarterback. It's just it's unlucky that they just playing in Michael Jordan's era. It sucks that you had the guy, you had all these other great guys that was under Jordan, but heck, you had to play against Jordan, and it was a lot of other great quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and everybody else, and Brett, all those other guys that was in Peyton Manning, Tom Brady's era. It was just Tom Brady's era, and this is Patrick Mahomes' era, and these other guys. Yes, they greats. We can argue and say this guy, that guy, this kid, but again, when it's all said and done, your kid, other little kids, wants to be this one man. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. Now everybody want to be like Brady. Now everybody want to be like Patrick Mahomes. When you was a kid out there shooting free throws on the milk carton or basketball goal, whatever you had, you would throw up that shot and say, MJ, LeBron James,
Well, Kobe.
Kobe, Kobe.
Right,
you say
right,
Kobe.
right.
You throwing a touchdown pass in the backyard with your friends. I'm Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I'm Peyton Manning. You come up the line. I'm Peyton Manning. Now little kids in the backyard playing. I seen kids on my block playing football yesterday, and there was hell now. Go deep. Okay, go deep. He's out scrambling like Patrick Mahomes. It's kids doing that now. It's just you in this man's era. Yes, Joe Burrow can be a great quarterback. Yes, Josh Allen can be a great. Kyler Murray, all these other guys, they won't be like Luke said. They won't be here if they didn't. It wasn't great. But now it's always a king in that era, and that king right now happens to be in the middle of the map in Kansas City. So, I say this to say this, Dre.
Oh, listen, man.
All that said, Joe Burrow's still trash. So drink on your green juice.
I'm gonna say this, guys. When Joe Burrow went against Josh Allen, they beat down the Buffalo Bills. It wasn't even close. The game wasn't even close.
Everybody beat Josh Allen out.
If you right. So if you look at the matchup, guys, look at both sides. When Burrow faced Mahomes, right? When Burrow beat Mahomes, right, in the AFC Championship game, both sides was loaded with talent. They both had Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, T. Higgins, Chase. It was even kill, and Burrow beat them, right? So you go to the NFC Championship game again. They won by penalty, knock Mahomes out of bounds, field goal range, boom, game's over, right? What I'm saying is this: you're not gonna meet no other guy that can stand up against Patrick Mahomes, guys. Everybody, hence in the draft, we're not a Bengal fan in the draft because they hate the fact that they respect the Bengals because they know the Bengals are good.
But what you also missing is this team has a great coach and they have a great GM and they're gonna keep building. While everybody else is trying to chase them guys, they're gonna keep adding turbochargers to their engine. They're gonna be adding the low profile tires to be gripping the track to get extra speed. But everybody else gonna have to pay their guys, right? Everybody else gonna have to pay T. Higgins. Everybody gonna have to pay
well, the Chiefs are in that boat too. So I mean,
right.
There's a lot to it. But I guess going back to the argument at hand, it's just incomparable right now. You can say, Burrow won that game. He's lost three games in the playoffs.
They're just facts,
two in overtime and one in a Super Bowl where offensive line was decimated. Mm-hmm. He maybe played his best game. It just the stats didn't show it, and there was some drops and whatever. But again, just the eye test tells you that every situation that's been thrown at him, he's been able to overcome it. And again, bringing last year's team to win the Super Bowl, if they win it this year again, forget it. I mean, it's a fait accompli. It's just figuring out where he's going to end up.
Okay, let me put this in perspective for the challengers. Patrick Mahomes was drafted in 2017. The 2018 draft class of quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson have one thing in common. They've never won an AFC championship game, and they've never been to the Super Bowl. This is the class that was drafted to do one thing: beat Patrick Mahomes. It didn't happen. You know why it didn't happen? Because they can't do it. There's no one in that draft class that's going to be better than Patrick Mahomes his entire career. You can put all those guys combined. That's not going to happen. I mean, Mahomes has played in a full season of playoff games. He's played in 17 to date.
Right.
Have you seen? I don't know where the stat number is,
Never,
but it's
sir.
just like, it's incredible, the stat line for his off.
You always have your haters, man. You always have your haters.
And you can have the haters. And listen, I love Bills fans. I love Bengals
Max
fans.
is hating. I don't know what hating is no more.
Fans. They're all passionate. They all have one thing in common.
They lose.
They're always going to be second fiddle to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs as long as that guy's on the field. And if this year doesn't prove that, listen, they can try all they want to.
Right.
The formula is broken. They can no longer build a team that the Ravens built a team so the Chiefs couldn't beat them. Offense, defense, special teams. And they went up there and they manhandled them like a bunch of babies that they were. They slapped them on the ass and said, you know what? This is our building. This is our game. And it was over.
But again, looking at this before we get out this subject. Looking at this, guys. You keep throwing this Joe Burrow stuff in here, and Joe Burrow had the best offensive positions that he can have as pass catchers, while Patrick Mahomes was having Tony throwing tipping passes up to the interception. The lead wide receiver lead and dropped. It still got his team to the Super Bowl. So what are you talking about?
You talking about because he got T. Higgins? Like somebody made a comment and said because he played. So T. Higgins leaves. Now the cap hits. Now all of a sudden now Joe Burrow ain't Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow ain't never been Joe Burrow.
He's not going to be as good with it. Listen, every single time. Let me drive the point home, Andre. Okay, because I get where you're coming from.
They're drinking that green Higgins, spaghetti.
When Higgins, Boyd, and Chase are not on the field, he is not as effective as a quarterback. It's proven. You can look in every single game those guys have missed. He won some, but the majority of his losses are when one of those guys out. The same thing with Brock Purdy. Everybody still says, we'll get to him in a little bit. But when you take away one of his parts or his pieces, he's not as good a quarterback. Mahomes has lost virtually everybody but Kelsey, and he's still going to his fourth Super Bowl. Y'all
take away Kelsey.
The point. It's about the player itself.
We have the same conversation. If Kelsey leaves, are we having the same conversation?
Was Kelsey not out at the beginning of the season?
I'm not even going to dispute that.
If he leaves, Bo, is it the same Mahomes?
We're going to find out.
It's not if he leaves.
We're talking about Mahomes that threw up 800 yards, 800 some yards in college.
Yes. No. He's right.
So that's just the league. That's just the league. If you got quarterbacks getting paid the way they are, the roster is going to change regularly. There's no way you can pay everyone, and the Bengals are going to see that. Right now, I mean, they're staring it in the face. We can't pay T. We can't pay Jamar and Tyler Boyd, and really, at this point. So, they're going to have to make a choice. Is it Jamar? Or is it going to be T. Higgins? Probably going to be Jamar Chase. He was a higher draft pick.
I think they'll trade Chase.
So
what? That's a good point. I think,
but again, it's up to the quarterback to make the adjustments and get it to work.
Yes.
No matter who they're throwing to. So we can always have these arguments about who had the better supporting cast, who had the worst supporting cast. Right. But again, the bottom line is, what has this guy done start to finish in his first 6 years is unprecedented. We haven't seen it before. And he's just getting to the point now where pre-snap, he knows what's coming.
There you go, Lou.
Whereas early in
There
his
you go. Good
career,
point.
obviously he didn't. He wasn't
Good
reading
point.
the defenses. He was just kind of
There you
playing
go.
football, what he was always used to. So as
Mhm.
he gets to that Brady level, that Peyton Manning level of kind of just knowing everything
Oh, it's
pre-snap,
gonna be a wrap, man.
again,
You might as well just don't come to the
It's
game.
pre-snap read for
Don't
Mahomes. It's
show
always
up.
pre-snap
Don't
read.
show up
and
to
I
the
think
game.
I think you're already starting to see that now in most cases. There's
Definitely.
not going to be any defenses that he hasn't seen. So again, we have to stipulate to the distinguished gentleman from Missouri that yes, Patrick is the best. Yeah.
And when he loses Kelsey, we'll find out. I mean, Mahomes had to answer the question: can he go on the postseason and win games? Clearly, he went into the two most hostile environments in the AFC, and he won.
Undefeated
Now,
on the road in the playoffs.
Kelsey,
Nick.
on the
Kelsey
road.
was
Undefeated on the road.
monster. Kelsey was a monster.
Because you know why? He plays in big games. He knows how to play and win in big games.
Hey, I can't
The
take nothing away from
You
Kelsey.
didn't have a single guy.
Veteran.
You didn't have a single guy on the Ravens that understood that. That's why they lost.
Hey, he beat Joe Burrow on one leg with practice squad receivers. Okay, so I don't want to hear nothing about Joe Burrow. I want to hear that.
But he beat them, and they're neck and neck, and they're neck and neck. They 1-1, right?
1-1 and what?
They're 1-1.
AFC championship, and they 1-1.
And what?
Okay,
It's a lot of people that's 1-1 with Brady. It's a lot of people that's 1-1 with the greats.
We're talking about Mahomes. We're talking about Mahomes. We're talking about Mahomes. Right? We ain't talking about the past. We're talking about Mahomes, the great Mahomes. There's nobody better than Mahomes. Nobody on his level.
There is.
It ain't.
Burrow is 1-1. You 1-1.
You've been muted.
Okay. The record isn't the issue.
You've been muted.
Joe's
The
really
issue is
Joe's
he's
really
been to
good.
4 Super Bowls and Burrow's been to 1.
Yeah, I mean Joe's really good. Josh
He's won
is really
6
good.
straight divisions.
Lamar's really
the Ravens, the Bengals, the top shelf is 2.
Patrick is
Plus, their
great.
division is better than Kansas City's division.
Oh,
I
What?
agree.
Okay.
No, I think he's right. No.
Wait a second.
Overall,
Hold
top
on.
to bottom,
Hold
that's
on.
better
This
than
is
the
a
AFC
bow.
West.
This is a bow tie question. Do you guys argue about LeBron and Michael?
We don't watch basketball like that.
Huh?
I do. I don't. My goat. I see LeBron as one of the greatest, but
Jordan's better.
I still got to say is one man that's out there that's my goat in basketball, and that's Stephen Curry. I ain't seen nothing like it. I ain't seen nobody take over a game like him. I ain't seen nothing like
Steph over Jordan.
I got Steph. He gonna catch him.
No. Do you got Steph over Jordan? Do you got Steph over Jordan?
I got Stephen over LeBron and Jordan.
Hell no.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything to catch.
Yes.
The one thing
Stephen
about
Curry.
Steph, I think he's iconic. Forget about the rings, everything else. He's iconic because he's pretty much changed the way basketball is played.
We play consistent,
right?
I mean,
that's what I'm saying about Mahomes. He changed how it's played.
Right. In that regard, I think they're similar because again, you were talking about little kids before and like imitating Mahomes and players like that.
Mhm.
I mean, every little kid wants to be like Steph because he came in the league, he looked like he was 5 years younger than he was. He looked slight, but he can drain threes, step across half court, he's in range, right? So, and Patrick came along and that offense was just ridiculous. That was like the Showtime Lakers, the Warriors, and when the Splash Brothers get going and they throw up 50 and a quarter. So, but it's in terms of the other guys, the other quarterbacks, again, they're all really good players. You can like nitpick this record or he beat him in this game, that game. The bottom line is he's counting rings. They're still trying to get there.
That's the bottom line.
As far as ring goes, I give y'all the ring part with the greatness of Andy Reid, the great Andy Reid. And then you got Mahomes.
Rings.
So I give you that.
Rings.
Now again, I'll do respect to Big Red, but before he got to Kansas City, he was almost in the same type of conversation as Mike McCarthy is right now.
And Marty Schottenheimer, same thing.
It was
Mahomes
he can get so far. He had time management issues in games. They got the 4 straight NFC championship games, couldn't get over the hump. They finally did, then they lost. But then Andy gets the unicorn, and then his greatness really
He's
flourished.
putting up
He gets the
numbers.
unicorn and put it together, huh?
So,
But we can't. Okay, go ahead, Lou.
so I mean, no, I'm just saying you can say what you will, and when Patrick had this, he had that, and at the end of the day, he's the difference. Okay,
Here's the one.
He's the missing link. He's the missing link to Andy Reid.
Here's the one thing to keep in mind about Burrow and Mahomes. I'll say this: Burrow is the face of the franchise of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is the face of the NFL. Period. It
Good
ends and stops
Good point.
with Patrick Mahomes.
Good point.
So we can sit here and say, what if? I doubted him. They lost to the Eagles. I said, this team is screwed. They lose to the Packers. I say, this team is screwed. They lose to the Bills in a way I had never seen before. They were screwed. They stink on Christmas Day, on the most fun day of the year, the best day of the year, and they give 78,000 fans a lump of coal. And what did they do? A week later, they take care of business against the Bengals.
Yeah, they did.
They take care of business against the
good
Dolphins.
game,
And minus 29, when number 15 is chucking the ball all over the field like it's 80 degrees outside. He goes to Buffalo and makes some incredible throws. And he goes to Baltimore and says, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a chance to win the game. I'm going to be Patrick Mahomes in the first half, and I'm going to put up some points. In the second half, I'm just going to methodically work the ball, do time management, and I'm going to give you a chance to come back when, even though I know my defense is so good, it ain't going to happen. He gave Lamar Jackson every chance to win that football game or to tie that football game. And you know what would have happened if it was tied? Mahomes flips the switch, turns on the offense, and guess what? Man. It's a win. So he toyed with them in the second half, I think. I think Andy was conservative on purpose.
Come on. So you tell me Mahomes what was going Okra? Was going to Okra to kill a well on him? No, killer play about it. I mean, play what they play. They finish him up.
That's how good he is.
Nick may remember this, and maybe Frank out there, and Ken St. Clair, and people like that. But it kind of reminded me of Super Bowl III when Namath arguably had one of the greatest performance in NFL history. Yeah. They scored a rushing touchdown and 3 field goals, but he distributed the ball. He got it on a time. They played the Baltimore Colts, who supposedly had the greatest defense ever, until the next year when the Minnesota Vikings had the greatest defense ever. And the AFC went in there and matriculated the ball down the field and beat the hell out of both of them. And you look at Pat. Now, again, he did have the touchdown, Pat, but still it was more just kind of like the precision darts. We're going to dice you up. We're going to frustrate you as hell. We're going to bait you into personal foul penalties and get you all frustrated. We're not scoring a ton of points, but you're not either. So again, it's just you can win many different ways. It doesn't have to always be about the stats. Right. And in a small portion, that's kind of where this argument is with regular season wins or playoff wins. Again, at the end of the day, win the big games.
Win the big game and win the big moments. And the Chiefs won all the big moments in the postseason. And that's why they're going to play in their second consecutive Super Bowl. And we're just at the very beginning stages of Patrick Mahomes. That's in true. The prime of his life, the prime of his career. And it's unfathomable to me. I can't believe what I'm watching. I can't comprehend. I think I've watched between the end of the championship game, probably 10 games this season that Mahomes was in. And I just marvel. Bad throws, drops. And I can't remember who the analyst was. I think it was on ESPN. He said, listen, if the Chiefs aren't turning the ball over and dropping passes, they're not losing those games. So what have they done? They're not turning the ball over. They're not dropping passes. MVS is playing out of his mind. Thank goodness. But that's who he is in the postseason.
He made a few catches. I mean, I don't think
it doesn't matter, but he's still playing out of the mind that we thought he could play.
He said
Based on what we saw in the regular
he's
season.
playing a lot better. I mean,
my mic piece fell out. What I was trying to say
he's doing what he's paid to do. All right,
he do what he needs to do.
Well, my mic piece fell out. But what I like to say is this: I don't care if it's like me watching NASCAR. You know, I watch NASCAR. I love NASCAR. Me and my son.
No wrong with that little zoom.
A lot of
I don't care. I don't care what you do in a race. I don't care how you doing in the race. It's how you finish that race. It's all about who's finishing that race. Yep. And every time this man is at the finish line, he finished the race. You don't care. I don't care what you do in a regular season against Mahomes. Is you gonna do that to him and to him when the fight is on the line? When he comes into your house, when you say that, hey, we never got a playoffs game. Oh, Josh Allen have changed the rules and had the ball at the end. Who knows what happened? So they changed the rules. They do this. Oh, the Chiefs are having too many AFC championships at their game, at their stadium. Can we get it moved to Indianapolis? Can we get this? All that doesn't matter. We want to see Patrick Mahomes on the road. So he guess what? He said, "This is your king.
Undefeated.
This is who you said. This is you said is your king. This you said who's better than me." He goes in that stadium in Buffalo and takes snowballs to the back of the head and take him out. Oh, this is your reigning MVP. This is the dark hole that nobody want to go into. The reigning number one defense. Oh, this defense, they got all the juggernaut. He go in there, grabbed him by the neck, and robbed the bank, and it was over from there. So Joe Burrow and everybody else, the conversations is over. It's no more need to talk about.
You keep mentioning up Joe Burrow, man.
You brought him up.
You brought him up.
It's brought up in the whole argument.
By the way, is that green cup like bottomless? Are you done yet?
Every time he drink it, it's coming up. Every time he comes up full.
I got a big picture of it. I got a big picture of it.
It's a magic jar, everybody. Every time he drinks, it comes up full again.
All right, I got one more thing. I got one more thing that Patrick Mahomes is really good at.
Okay, Nick. Go ahead,
you ready for it? He's good at chasing coordinators to leave their job. Because Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, just was hired as the Seattle Seahawks head coach. Yep. And where does he go? He goes to the NFC. He goes, I don't want to play this guy anymore. I'm done.
That's a perfect. That's a perfect.
The offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, he's out. Where did he go? He went to the NFC too.
I played him again.
Well,
I'm going to the NFC.
Actually, Callahan went to Tennessee, but
Tennessee,
I think
whatever.
McDonald is a perfect replacement for Pete. Younger dude. That'll be good. It's really interesting.
You know what's going to happen? Baltimore is going to bring in Belichick. They're going to bring in Belichick. Say, let's coach together. We got to have the master plan.
What's going on in Washington? It's almost like nobody wants this job. Do you think like EB gets it by default?
No, he got one interview, and that was with them as a courtesy.
So is EB a free agent right now?
I think they're going to have to pay Vrabel about
they're
going to have to pay him Harbaugh money.
Ben Johnson staying in Detroit. Is this going to be Dan Quinn's last hurrah? This is almost like his last chance.
He's not a good head football coach. What's the point?
They brought him in like 2 or 3 times.
They brought him in twice. He was the favorite. The only reason that Johnson didn't get the job is because he asked for Harbaugh.
The same juice. It must refill itself.
He asked for more money than Andy Reid makes, and now that's not going to happen. So I don't think he really wanted to go to Seattle. But the whole Bieniemy thing.
No, I'm talking about Washington because it doesn't seem it seemed like they were like the first ones to get the ball rolling, but it's kind of like come to a screeching halt, and it's like, well, who's going to take this job?
That organization is not fixed, and they've got new ownership, and they're rah guys, and they're willing to spend money, and they got they got Johnson up there, and they Magic Johnson and. They got all these great things, but no one wants to coach there.
Right.
It's clear.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to
have to. And that tells me they're not willing to spend the money on a big-time coach because if I'm them, I get Bill Belichick in there and say, what do you need?
You know what they need to spend money on, Nick? You know what they need to spend money on? They need to spend money on Dave Purdy.
That's right. That's exactly what they need to do. All right, our next corporate sponsor, Mr. Dave Purdy with Supreme. If you're looking for somebody that can walk you through the mortgage process from start to finish, put you in a product that fits the budget, that makes sense, and allows you to be in a good position. Interest rates are falling, but of course, when you buy a house, you're always going to think about refinancing in a year. So you need someone who can work with you and make sure you understand the now rate versus the rate from a year ago. From a year from now is going to be different because the market conditions will change. It's a presidential election year, blah, 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 blah. We all know what that happens. Usually means the Fed lowers the rates. So again, you got to have somebody you can trust. Dave Purdy is your guy. Whether you're looking to buy a house or to refinance or pay off debt, you need someone you can trust who can walk you through the numbers and give you a plethora of options. He's working with me. He's working with Hense on our loans for our houses. And that's what you need. You need a good person too. Dave is that guy. So give Dave a call at 816-405-5831. We all love Dave because he is pretty good. Right.
Only Purdy good. Only time we say that on this because he ain't.
But you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? In that division right now, next year it's gonna be loaded with good quote.
Before we get into that,
it's gonna be crazy.
We get it right into the Super Bowl. The Chiefs versus 49ers, Super Bowl 58. And that 58 represent who in the Chiefs kingdom? So we got to go take that 58 for the only one 58, and that's Derek Thomas. What you say about that, Nick?
Yeah, I wrote a piece about that today at chiefsblitz.com. And, you know, I had this conversation with a really good friend of mine before the start of the season. And she goes, we gotta win Super Bowl 58 in honor of Derek. And I thought about that today. And, you know, I love this man. He was such an inspiration. He was amazing talent. And I know that the team, I don't want to disrespect Norma Hunt, who they really are playing for this year. But I don't think Norma would even mind if the 58 numbers matched, you know, for Super Bowl 58 and the number of Derek Thomas that he wore so proudly in Kansas City. Unfortunately, his timely death back in 2000. But he's on my Mount Rushmore Chiefs with Lenny, with Patrick Mahomes, and with Travis Kelce, who's now moved up. He kicked off Bobby Bell for me. It's just a good feeling. Derek never went to a Super Bowl. He was in an AFC title game and he got benched because Thurman Thomas was running up his rear and had him all sorts of way, and Marty pulled him out of the game. And Derek was really never the same player after that. And that was kind of that. But the game before against the Houston Texans and Warren Moon and Buddy Ryan's famous defense, he tore him up. So, you know, I think that for me, you know, guys, I'm sappy, I'm emotional, I'm very nostalgic. I appreciate the history of the Chiefs, both the good and the bad of it. But Derek Thomas was special. Playing in Super Bowl 58 and winning Super Bowl 58, I think it just adds a little bit more meaning to the legacy he left behind. And it's just another way to honor him. And I'm sure when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl a week from Sunday, someone's going to come up with a really catchy shirt idea and have number 58 on there in Super Bowl 58. And somebody will pay homage to him because I think he deserves it. We can never forget the importance he had on the Chiefs, on this franchise. He was Michael Jordan-esque. He did change the game, but he just didn't have that championship. He couldn't get the Chiefs to a championship, and no fault of his own. They had some great defenses, but the offenses by Marty were just poor, to say the least. Very. Montagna and obviously Marcus Allen helped, but they weren't enough. And so at the end of the day, Derek leaves the earth and leaves the Chiefs' kingdom without having gone to a Super Bowl. So hey, let's honor it. Let's honor it with a win in Super Bowl 58.
DT. I think he was recently voted the top player in Alabama history.
I'm good with that.
His last year for the Tide, he had 27 sacks.
Yeah.
I'm
actually in possession.
In 11 or 12 games. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm actually in possession of this workout tape with the Chiefs. I actually have it.
Nice. Is he wearing like Zubas?
I haven't had it converted yet.
Headband.
But I do. I was given to me by a scout with the Chiefs back in the day for the project I was working on with Derek.
So Derek Thomas was a sack machine. Basically, what y'all telling me, he was a
sack machine. He was
just a pure pass rusher. One of the best pass rushers in the game.
Yeah, he loved Lawrence Taylor. That was his idol. And
Lawrence Taylor
I think he fell like 5 or 6 sacks short of getting to his number. But you know, it's ironic that we're playing in the Raiders Stadium because nobody wreaked more havoc on on the Oakland Los Angeles Raiders than Derek Thomas. I mean, he sacked what's his name? The Raiders quarterback 6 times in a game. Obviously he had Dave Craig 7 times. It was just I cannot remember his name. Lou, you got to help me out here.
Todd Marinovich?
No, it wasn't Marinovich. It was I can't think of maybe one of the fans out there can remind me. I'm just going brain dead here. Jeff George. He sacked George 6 times in a game and a safety. If you ever want to know the true essence of Derek Thomas, watch the 49ers game, the Chiefs at home with Montana against San Francisco. And I think that was one of his best games of his career. And Steve Young said after the game, and he has said it since,
the look on his
that's the hardest hits I have ever taken as a quarterback.
The look on his face during that game will tell you.
Fear. He had absolute, you could see it between the face masks. He had fear in that game when he looked and he saw that man coming down on him. He had a safety in that game. I think he had 2 other sacks.
Okay.
He just beat the shit out of him in that game. And it was just amazing to watch. That was I was at that game. It was one of my favorite games that I've ever witnessed in my entire life. It was the first game for John Madden as well on the Fox broadcast. I think it was the second game of the year, and it was just absolutely insane. And this man just wreaked havoc, and we're lucky that he's part of it. So I don't know. I could go on about Derek we could do 5 shows about Derek.
Ken St. Clair was there too.
That's what he said. He was there. He was there with this. He said he think it was a safety. There was a safety.
He did. He got 2 sacks and a safety, if I remember. But your guys' home, Andre and Hense, watch the game on YouTube. And
I will.
It's just insane. That game and the one at Houston, for the divisional playoff against Warren Moon, who at that point they had the best offense on the planet.
Everybody been talking about that game a whole lot.
They had like the best defense too. Buddy Ryan was, that was the big deal when they had Dishman,
and they had so many great players defensively, and Ryan was just a beast of a coach. And Montana figured it out. I mean, there was even like a drop touchdown in that game for the Chiefs. It could have been a much bigger score. So,
playing in that on that concrete in the Astrodome, that was that was a whole different ball game. But
can you imagine?
Yeah, that was. I said last show that's like one of my favorite Chief games.
Yeah. Lou, you talk about that game for a whole lot.
Got to get these young kids in line, dude. They got to see where this all came from and why.
I've been doing my research, guys. I've been doing my research.
You just go online and you can dial them up.
Dial it up. Just like I did when the Ravens. I went back and watched the games. I just went. I ain't gonna get that started, Lou. But
that was a classic response from Lou, man. Lou, so he did all that to get pressure on the quarterback. 3 hours to talk about pressure.
But again, looking at talking about history, man. Andy Reid is on he been here I think 10 years, 11 years of head coach, 10 playoff 8 division titles, 4 conference championships, and 2 Super Bowls. Andy Reid, and he's not done yet. Everybody want to put the retirement hat on him and put him in a corner and say he's done. But hey, who else is going to be take out Andy Reid in his coaching era? Who? Jim Harbaugh, the Harbaugh brothers? I don't think so.
John's not even close.
Other guys that his only comparison that stopped Andy Reid in a Super Bowl and going on to the AFC Championship was one man. That's Belichick, and he's not coaching nowhere. So looking at that man and seeing that
Zach Taylor.
Yeah, right.
He did once, That's for you, Coach Dre. That's for you, Coach Dre.
He's trying to start your stuff back up, Luke. I thought we was done off the Joe Burrow talk. I thought we was done off the Bengals. But again,
but facts is facts, man.
But again, Andy Reid is going on, and this could be maybe a lot of people said if he win 3, Maybe he's done. Maybe we don't know. Maybe that's what
Belichick's at 30. Belichick's at 31. Belichick's at
Reed
31
better than
postseason
Belichick?
wins, and Andy's at 25 currently.
Is Reed better than Belichick? Real quick, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Stop.
You know
What
why?
would it take? I mean, I don't even know how you. I mean, he's been at it. He'd been at it longer. He's got more championships. I mean, I don't know.
The overall picture, from the coaching tree on to wins, who's better?
Well, I'm more on the offense, so I would side with Reed, but
you would side with Reed.
But Belichick's got more wins, so you can't argue with that.
No, he's got more wins, but I would say right now, if you look at it objectively from a guy that, I mean, here's the thing. Belichick was completely reliant on Brady.
Thank you.
To pull the magic out of his hat, and he would build him a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't been the case for Patrick Mahomes. He's had to win with, great players and not so great players.
True.
And the
bad defense, one great defense.
Yeah, and the Patriots offense was the same every year that Tom Brady was there. Right. I said this the other day on the show, so I don't want people to think that I'm, losing it here. But the Chiefs offense has had to change multiple times in the last 6 years. Mm-hmm. That's what great coaches do. Belichick was the benefactor of, even though Tom Brady denied this yesterday on his interview with Pat McAfee.
I've seen that.
He basically, Belichick relied on Tom to save his butt in times when he didn't know how to coach out of the problem. But Belichick, I think, to me, is one of the best builders of the defensive line and understands what that means.
Oh,
he is one of the most innovative defensive minds in the NFL. And if you go back to the first AFC title game,
he was Spags.
The Chiefs put up 26 points in the fourth quarter. And had they not kicked that field goal and ran one more play, I think they would have scored a touchdown. I really do. And I think they would have won that football game. So I think when you look back at the careers, Belichick, if he's all that great with 7 openings or 8 openings, the only team that interviewed him basically was the Atlanta Falcons. And the only reason he went there is because he wanted to repeat the same thing that he'd done in New England. And ownership said, no, we can't do it that way anymore. So if people think at 71 now he's going to get a job when he's 72 next year, I think he's done. I don't think he's going to get hired.
He's a DC coordinator.
If he doesn't take the Washington job or go coach at Army,
Navy.
I'm sorry, Navy. Then I just don't see it. He'll be on TV next year.
If he was 10 years younger, I think it'd be a different conversation.
He's 5 years younger.
If Spags was 10 years younger, maybe he'd get another shot. But at his age, being a defensive coach, it's just not the way the league is going. And for him to make any demands is going to be awfully difficult for an owner to just say, okay, here are the keys, just go do whatever you want. Especially since the Crafts, I think, had kind of tired of that the last few years.
Well, just look at the hires. They're all young pups.
Yeah.
And guys who have no experience as head coaches. So again, they're trying to find the next could be Belichick or could be Andy Reid. And
only way Belichick get a shot is he's a defensive coordinator. He's not being a head coach. I'm a head coach days.
Yeah, his ego will never allow it. Never happen.
And speaking of defensive coordinators, the Spags are gonna be after one of his top pass rushers this year with with Charles Omenihu going to be injured. So is this going to be a key loss, or who going to step up in his place? Can this bring Frank Clark back, or the hometown hero?
I think it's a key loss.
Hometown hero is going to have to step up. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think about it, Coach Rick?
That's a key loss. Let's go here. I'm gonna knock it out the park, man. It's a key loss because he was trying to find his stride. He was trying to pose his will, I would say. I'm like, okay, now this guy has arrived right now. You got Jai Jones, you got George, and you got Omenihu. By him going out, Donald is cool. He's okay. I like him. He's okay, but he's not like Omenihu. Omenihu just had the upside for what Spags like to do. So I do believe it's a big loss for Kansas City.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I mean, he was playing great football. He was healthy. They did play the first 6 games without him. So they do, and that's kind of where we discovered, Mike Dana again. So Mike Dana is going to have to be that guy. I mean, they still got Karlaftis. They can put Jones on the edge. So I think they can do that. But their first round pick, Felix Anudike-Uzomah, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing any of that right, but this is his time. He hasn't played a lot. He has not played a lot since Amenahue came back and is playing so well. His snaps are limited and he hasn't been active. But the fortunate news is they have 2 weeks to get him ready. Can he play 20, 25 snaps? Probably so. He and Dana can kind of rotate. This means as long as Willie Gay comes back, then they could put Leo Chanel on the edge if they want to. So there are definitely some things that they can do. Now, Frank Clark, I'm told, is an option. If they would sign in, it would be on the practice squad. I think this would be good motivation for Chris Jones. That's his best friend. This is probably Chris Jones' last game as a Kansas City Chief.
Why not?
And I think, who knows? Frank only needs 1.5 sacks to go into, I think, second place or for tie first place. In the sack record for the most sacks in the postseason. So
Willie McGinnis.
he wants a chance at that, and he'll be in shape, and he's going to help the young guys, and a lot of these guys know him already. So if I'm the Chiefs, I kind of forget how things ended, kind of forget the fact that he, was going to sign with them this year and ended up going to Seattle, and Seattle cut him, but nobody's picked him up since. I mean, listen, the Miami Dolphins were desperate to find pass rushers and linebackers, and they signed Justin Houston over him. They signed Melvin Gordon over him. So I don't know really what's left, but if you want a rah-rah guy, an inspirational guy, if you think that defense needs a little bit more kick and Spags needs a guy to kind of help him coach some of these young guys up in the big game, I am all for it.
Well, you mentioned FAU, but Malik Herring's been getting a lot of snaps, so I think his workload will go up a little bit. You got BJ Thompson, another draft pick that really hasn't had an opportunity.
I think he's going to be phenomenal
to play yet, and that was kind of the knock on him coming, and why he went a little bit further down in the draft was because of his inexperience at playing the position. But after an entire year of being coached, Joe Cullen, Spags, the other players, again, it's not going to be Charlie O. No question. He's got to be sick because he just came from San Francisco, and that would have just been awesome for him. But they got rotational guys that come in, and I would agree with you in terms of Frank being that voice, among the other guys and helping Chris Jones. But the guy hasn't played football in a few months.
It's been about 6 weeks. Yeah, 7 weeks.
To expect him to come in and contribute on the field, I think would be asking a lot.
I think it's just a rush. It's just a rush. He coming back to rush. They back together.
Yeah,
one
well, absolutely. But
if it's 3rd and 15, if it's 3rd and 15, and they put Dan on the bench and they put him on the edge and Jones on the other edge, I'm all for it. I think
the NASCAR package.
Yeah, the NASCAR. Line them up on the same side and put Karlaftis on the other side.
4 DNs. Let's go.
Yep.
Might as well
go for it. And Pinellas played well on the defensive tackle. So is God, I'm sorry, guys. My brain's just not working. No, not Wharton's played well, but the one they traded with the Raiders, Terrell Farrell.
Neil Farrell.
I don't
know that he really hasn't gotten that many snaps. Yeah.
He got a few snaps, but he's a big guy. He can take up space. Yeah. So the Chiefs can be creative on the edge a little bit and push that offensive line.
Don't be a hater, sir.
Yeah, we'll get into this game a little bit more.
Charlie O certainly a loss though, and
that's a big loss. I mean, they lost their starting safety, their starting defensive end.
All good wishes to him because that looked like it was going to be a home run, signing, and
it's going to be tough.
He was
now
just
for him.
Catching his stride. That just sucks.
He is out until at least November, and that was the last of his contract. Only signed a 2-year contract because of the off the field stuff. I think it's an injury settlement. Maybe they extend him. But it's going to be 2024. It's going to be 2026 before we see him at 100%, which is really sad. I mean, that's the downside of getting an injury in the postseason, is that training camp starts and
those extra games.
8 months.
That one seed is very
One
valuable,
snap.
man.
That one snap.
Extra game. It's attrition.
So who's gonna be that Chiefs that replaces?
Are we ready to strike
Yeah,
up the
let's do
band,
it.
guys?
Let's
Are
do
we
it.
ready
Man,
we ready to hit the music? Come on, Maestro. Let's go. You know what time it is. It's the fastest growing game on YouTube and who knows, maybe the whole internet. So let's go. If you're ready. All right. His college team's nickname is a relative to his pro team's nickname.
Ooh.
His coach in college was part of an historical Super Bowl. One of the current coaches on staff and he fly the same flag.
Isaiah Pacheco.
No. His last name matches his personality.
Okay, so let's stop there. So Chiefs and Seminole maybe make some sort of connection, possibly.
Okay, Nick's going to think out loud now. That's not the way the game's played. So
okay, fine.
Kareem
keep
says
those to yourself. I'm the one giving the clues here.
Talk to him. Kareem says naughty.
Derek Naughty.
No, it isn't. Okay.
Good try, Kareem.
All right. Yes, he did have a big touchdown in a playoff game in Arrowhead.
But not as a Chief.
Watson, number 35.
Jalen Watson. Nope. I think we already had him. We already had him. Helps out where and whenever he can.
Drew Tranquil.
No. You might say that last Super Bowl was. You might say that last Super Bowl was a doubleheader for him.
Scott Moore.
He's from the land of Lincoln.
Oh, Nick Allegretti.
There you go. I had to throw that last one in.
I got stoned.
You could have said that first, and I'd have guessed that.
I know.
Nick Allegretti.
All right. So anyway, let's go. College nickname: Fighting Illini and the Chiefs. Right. One of his coaches and he fly the same flag. Of course, he and Spags are Italian. He did score a touchdown against the Steelers a few years back.
Playoffs.
Yep. Helps out wherever he can. He plays right guard, left guard, center. You might say the last Super Bowl was a doubleheader for him. His wife had twins the night before. I don't know if that is that sexist. Is that gross?
No, it's allowable on our show.
And
it's still okay to have babies, people.
His last name, Allegretti, means cheerful. So there you go.
That segment was brought to you by Air Canes and Air Canes.
That's right, Eric.
Hey, I got stumped on this one for real. I was lost on this one, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was like, who?
Good. Those are great clues. You know, you should.
It is.
You should have your own game show, man.
I kind of do. I don't.
Yeah.
he killed it. I gotta do. Oh yeah.
It's like that old show that Dick Enberg used to do.
Sports Challenge.
Challenge.
That was awesome.
That was God. That was so much fun. That's when these guys were just real people, man. They just enjoyed
for the
it.
young crew. That was kind of like Jeopardy, but they'd have like 2 guys or 3 guys from different sports teams. And they would play, and he'd throw trivia questions and some video clues and such. So, anyway.
I like
the great Dick Enberg.
But looking at that, guys, is the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, and we're gonna finish out with where the flag is substantially buried. It's not buried, but the stadium Arrowhead West is where we're gonna end up at when it's all said and done. A lot of people said the flag is not there, but some people say the flag is there.
Hey, do you think the Raider fans are going to get triggered when they see one of the end zones painted with Chiefs?
Oh my God! How great is that going to be?
We're gonna need some pictures of that. Hence, make sure you.
I'll make sure I get that. I'll make sure I get that one.
Oh my God! I didn't think about that, Lou. That is just, and they're at the Chiefs are practicing at at the Raiders facility in Henderson, and
maybe they got cameras in there.
It is beyond state of the art.
Which one of those?
They are going. It's going to be some Raiders fan at that game.
Which one of those Chiefs jokesters will leave a little Chiefs paraphernalia behind?
I'm sure. I'm sure that Patrick Mahomes is going to find who's the defensive end for the Raiders?
Max Crosby.
God, I'm going
Double
crazy.
X,
I'm sorry,
man.
guys. Matt, he's probably going to sign. He's probably going to sign Max Crosby's locker with a Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl champ. Yeah, Crosby's locker room is getting signed by the Chiefs.
Yeah,
it doesn't run out. He said doesn't run out.
Yeah, what the hell, man? You haven't gone to the bathroom in like an hour. What, you got a catheter or what? What's going on? Holy crap.
So listen, guys,
I'm over 60. We don't talk about catheters.
So listen, I got to right here. So I made me a big old mug of my green juice.
Man. But again, the flag is under the stadium, guys, and we're going to have more to talk about this on Friday, where we prepare for another Super Bowl. Well, the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl on Sunday, correct?
It's two-hand touch. It's two-hand touch in the Pro Bowl.
Jason Kelce arrived today in his flip-flops, I saw. So it's all good.
For those of you that are so inclined, the East-West Shrine game is Thursday night on NFL Network, and then Saturday the Senior Bowl at 1.
Yes, sir.
I'll be watching. I was trying to get down there, but I got my credentials in too late, so I will be there for the NFL draft and also for the combine. I'm going to be right there on that field to deliver the news directly. So with that said, Nick, go give us a shout out to more of our sponsors.
All right, I want to thank again Mr. Dave Purdy with Supreme. If you're looking for someone who's going to walk you through getting a mortgage, as he is for me and Hense's family, give him a call at 816-405-5831. He is your go-to guy if you're going to purchase or refinance or debt consolidation. Call Dave Purdy first. Let him do a personal checkup on your credit and in your finances, and he'll help you try and find the right fit. Give Dave a call at 816-405-5831.
Pretty good.
That's right. And Mr. Eric Haynes of the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for somebody who can walk you through the process of getting finding a house, you need someone who understands, stuff like school districts, who understands every aspect of this, from where you're building, property values. Is it a good fit for your family? Is it priced right? A lot of things go into buying and selling a house. You want somebody with experience. Eric Haynes is that guy. Reach him at 816-729-3785.
Proud sponsor of Chief Allegretti.
The Allegretti Chiefs today. Oh boy.
What was that? Now it's kind of empty, the green juice. So go ahead and give the shout out to everybody that
well, listen, shout out to Vincent, Kareem, St. Clair. Let me see. Let's see.
Mary Lee was in there for a while.
Mary Lee, yes, absolutely. Frank, Mary Lee,
our Greek freak.
Yeah, we got two. We have two. That's awesome.
Yeah, guys. Hey, keep it coming, man. For real, man. If y'all want to hear exclusive debates of me burying Bowtie, let me know. Tune into the Bowtie Network, man, the podcast, and watch your boy Barry Bowtie again, because Joe Burrow is better. So with that being said,
everybody get into that.
Over, sir. Go ahead and take over, sir.
Everybody know Patrick Mahomes is better. Go ahead and get his out of here. It is everybody.
Yeah, let's go. All right, peace out, everybody.
I'll give you the last nib over the bone.
Mahomes is better.
I'll leave me the bone for you.
Patrick Mahomes is still better.